Arcadian Vanguard presents The Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Monday, January 30th, 2023. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin with news on the passing of Jay Briscoe, aka Jamin Pugh. The funeral of Jamin Pugh was held yesterday in the gymnasium of Laurel High School in Laurel, Delaware, and was live-streamed on YouTube. Delivering eulogies at the funeral were Jamin's father, Mike Pugh, and Caprice Coleman, as well as Jamin's younger brother and longtime tag team partner, Mark.
If it wasn't for Jay and his buckets of blood that he bled and his evil faces and oh man, he was just like, and he was just, that hug he gave me after that match, it was like, oh my goodness, it was something about it. It was just like, man, this is special. And now here we are a month later and we celebrating the life, celebrating my boy's life. The thing he was more passionate about than anything was God and wanting to be used by God and wanting to be available by God. And he was so passionate and so willing that there was times that he went full speed 100 miles an hour, but he tried to do it with his own strength, his own ability. And that's not how it goes when you do God's work. You got to be 100% willing to do it, but you got to be 100% willing to let God do it. You just got to be 100% available.
Dave Meltzer reported on Tuesday that Tony Khan flew in many AEW talents on a private jet to allow them to take part in the funeral. Jay Briscoe died in an auto accident on January 17th, 8 days before his 39th birthday. In ticket sales news, WWE's 30th anniversary episode of Monday Night Raw led last week in live attendance for major TV tapings, with a crowd that exceeded the combined live audience for both WWE SmackDown and AEW Dynamite. According to yesterday's WrestleTix report, there were 14,451 tickets sold for Raw at the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia. SmackDown at the Sames Auto Arena in Laredo, Texas, the night before the Royal Rumble had 7,191 tickets sold. The previous WWE appearance in the building for a Raw taping last June drew 8,240. And finally, the Dynamite and Rampage taping at the Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky had 5,224 tickets sold for the company's debut in the building. The live wrestling attendance record for Rupp Arena, according to WrestlingData.com, is 17,610 for the November 16th, 1998 episode of Raw. In news from outside the ring, WWE's Zelina Vega, real name Thea Trinidad, will be taking part in Capcom's Street Fighter VI video game, according to an announcement on Saturday night from the official Street Fighter Twitter account. Trinidad will be lending her voice to the game as a color commentator as part of the game's real-time commentary feature. As Zelina Vega, she appeared in the Women's Royal Rumble Saturday night dressed as the Street Fighter character Juri, with her participation in the upcoming game noted by announcer Michael Cole. Turning to Japan, New Japan Pro Wrestling is overhauling their New Japan Strong operation in North America, including rebranding their live events and creating a video-on-demand streaming service. New Japan President Takami Obari issued a statement Sunday night announcing the moves. Instead of monthly tapings for the NJPW Strong product, which appeared on New Japan's streaming service NJPW World, the company will now run all of their American events as NJPW Strong live streaming pay-per-views, featuring matches that would then be edited and appear on the new NJPW Strong on-demand show. The new format begins with the company's February 18th Battle in the Valley show from San Jose. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.